Today, we're diving into a topic that's causing ripples across the SEO community and, as an attorney, could very well impact your site: the March 2024 Google Core Update. Hi, I'm Caesar, the Director of SEO at Weber's. We specialize in helping law firms get found on Google, and today we're talking about SEO, specifically how Google is getting serious about not just removing, but penalizing websites for having what it deems as low quality, duplicate, or AI generated content. If you didn't already know, Google regularly updates its algorithm to ensure that users receive the most relevant and high quality search results. Each of these updates brings a wave of changes, followed by a fair amount of anxiety by website owners hoping that their site traffic doesn't get flattened overnight, and this latest one is no exception. You might be wondering, why should I care about this update? Well, if you're an attorney, listen up. This update could significantly impact your online visibility, search rankings, and ultimately your ability to reach potential clients. In today's video, we'll break down the important aspects of the March 2024 Google Core Update, highlight what's changed, and explore the potential implications for lawyer websites. Whether you're looking to maintain your search engine rankings or climb to the top, understanding these updates is crucial. So let's dive in. There were two major announcements that Google made on March 5th. One is the release of the latest core update, and the other is an addition to their spam policy. So the core update is essentially an enhancement of their ranking system, which is designed to show more helpful results. And what they're claiming is that it will remove up to 40% of spam or less helpful results. The highlight here is that they're no longer using a one system or a one signal system for helpful content. So in the past, they had what they called a helpful content update that would happen about every 3 months or so. And now it's just basically baked into the core algorithm. So if you do have helpful content issues and you get them addressed, you should see the impact of that work a lot faster than having to wait for the next update to happen. But the biggest news from this update that's created a lot of buzz is the new spam policy, which sounds like a direct assault on poor quality AI generated content. With this update, Google seems to be getting a lot more punitive when it comes to how it handles what it considers to be spam or low quality content. They're dishing out manual action penalties, which were practically unheard of for anything other than spam links. What this means is now more than ever, it's important to assess the content on your site and make sure you're not creating pages that Google considers low quality and made for SEO purposes rather than being for human users. Having these pages on your site can drastically impact the performance of your site, and in very egregious cases can lead to manual action penalties, which basically means you're off of Google. Now, officially, there are 3 new policies that Google added to its spam abuse: scaled content abuse, site reputation abuse, and expired domain abuse. The one I want to talk about in this video that is more likely to pertain to attorneys is the scaled content abuse. In particular, there are 2 examples that we see quite often with attorney websites, which is using AI to generate a bunch of pages and combining content across multiple pages. We especially see this on location pages that are targeting traffic from cities that are too far away for their Google business profile to show up. These city pages can often have a low quality, unoriginal, over optimized, and basically duplicate content, and they just don't receive the thought and attention as a lot of the other pages on the website. If you're going to create these location pages where you don't actually have an office or a Google verified listing, just limit the use of those pages, because producing them at a mass scale can be considered doorway pages, which is against Google's guidelines and can be subject to getting penalized. Just be very selective and have a strategical reason for creating a page for a specific location. Consider these pages as their own business unit, because that's really what they are. You need to dedicate the time and the resources to getting these pages ranked and having them be of any value to the website. We actually have a checklist for creating these pages, and we really scrutinize when these pages should be created in the first place. This is done by consulting with the attorney and going over the risk versus reward assessment. Another example of poor content that we see is with blog posts. Sometimes we see lawyer sites with hundreds of blog posts, and a lot of it is just content that was done at scale by an agency because, you know, content is cheap to produce now with AI. But there's a fallacy about supporting content and the need to create internal links, which is often the justification for creating these blog posts in the first place. But the reality is that when you're creating this low quality content that doesn't rank, it doesn't really help you because Google, for the most part, ignores these pages. And if you're publishing too many of these quote unquote supporting pages, it could actually hurt you. So be mindful of what you're publishing. Try to avoid very generic top of the funnel topics that really don't address questions that somebody who is looking for your service would be asking. For example, if you're a personal injury lawyer, don't publish stuff like what color car gets into the most accidents or bus safety tips for kids. I mean, let's face it, at the end of the day, most of this stuff is just rehashed fluff that isn't going to bring any value to your site. And if you're allowing an agency to publish content on your site, just make sure that you're reviewing it and that you're adding as much information gain as possible, so it's not just the same rehashed stuff from what's already being said on other websites. All right, so how do you know if this update has hit you? First thing you're going to want to do is to check Google Search Console for more manual action warnings. Obviously, that is the clearest indication that you've been impacted. You can check your traffic over the next month because Google says that this update can take up to a month for it to be fully in effect. So if you see any sort of drastic decreases in your traffic, you'll need to investigate the pages that had the biggest losses and see if those pages fall into the update criteria. So just keep in mind that getting penalized or falling out of favor with Google, it's really tough to recover from. So the best thing is to be proactive and make sure that you're not putting yourself in a position to be negatively impacted by Google's algorithm updates. You can do this by having an understanding of how Google sees your site and your pages. You can see how Google is crawling the pages and how frequently they're crawling pages on your site inside of Google Search Console. Some questions you may want to ask yourself is, do they index my pages via internal links without me having to submit them manually? Are the pages that are indexable and that Google has found, are they indexed, or are they keeping them out of index for some reason? Are you getting impressions from keywords that perhaps aren't relevant to the content that's on the page? Another thing you want to do periodically is to do a content audit to get rid of pages that aren't adding any value or that you know were mass produced. Removing low quality or duplicate pages like the city pages I mentioned earlier, if they're not bringing any value to you, it's better these days actually to have fewer pages indexed, but high quality pages versus hundreds of low quality pages. All right, so hopefully this video helps shed some light on this latest Google shakeup. We're probably going to be feeling some of the ripple effects for the next few months, but as an agency, we're not worried about our clients being impacted because we've taken the appropriate measures to remain safe. And if you're an attorney and you think you may have been impacted by this latest update, or you would just like us to do a free evaluation of your site to make sure that there isn't something there that you should be concerned about, click the link below and we'll be happy to set up a free analysis for you. See you on the next video.